we've got another psalm for you today, and as exciting as it is, we don't know what kind of psalm is going to occur this week as we go through our last week into the Psalms. So, what have I got in store for you? Well, let's get on and see. Psalm 15 from the Message version. God, who gets invited to dinner at your place? How do we get on your guest list? Walk straight, act right, tell the truth. Don't hurt your friend, don't blame your neighbour, despise the despicable. Keep your word even when it costs you. Make an honest living, never take a bribe. You'll never get blacklisted if you live like this. It was almost inevitable that when I said that we were going to do this as a final week of the Psalms and that I was packaging them all together, that I would have second thoughts. Now this psalm, though it kind of sounds like a wisdom psalm, because it's like, well, how do I get invited to dinner at God's? How do I curry favour? I don't know if that's the right way to say it. So it has that in common with things like wisdom. But you'll have noticed that even in the message, it's split into lines of three. And this is actually a liturgical psalm. And there are quite a number of these. We could easily have done a week just looking at liturgical psalms. So psalms that have been written with the intention of worship and praise and the acts of worship that we have. And it's interesting because we were obviously thinking about worship with our Psalm of Ascension. So it's almost fortuitous that we have this one too. There are so many different acts within worship. So this one is a meditation, isn't it? It's thinking about what is God going to appreciate in my life? How is God going to expect me to act? And we have the thoughts that arise from that question. But you also get a liturgical psalm that might just be praise, or might be a confession, or might be all those different types, and yet the understanding, the reason they're grouped together, is because of the way that they're used in worship. There's something so particular about writing or even just saying extemporarily a prayer that is words for other people. So when I pray at the end of these videos, but when I pray in church too, it's not the same as a personal prayer, because you are saying that prayer with the expectation that others are going to join with you too. So, even if it does touch upon things that affect me personally, or perhaps I'm lifting up in prayer, which, if you're in a church service, there will be quite often people that you lift up in prayer known to you, even if they are as sort of being slightly more removed from it, because the prayer that you're offering is for all of the congregation and not just yourself. And so there's like a greater expectation. And for me, if you look at the Psalms of Lament, I hazard a guess that they're very different from the Psalms of Liturgy, because if you're going to use it in that public worship, then you almost think through even more what you're going to say. That being said, what did you think of this psalm? Is it one that you could see within a church service? I'm not sure that I would use it in mine, but I would love to hear if you think differently and why you think so. Let's have a word of prayer. God, we are often given the ability to speak on behalf of others. We know that we do so when we pray together on Sundays or when we're gathered in Bible studies, that we come representing more than just ourselves. We pray that as we intercede, that we might have an understanding of the great responsibility and gift that is, that we would have an awareness of others beyond ourselves, and that through those prayers, that awareness would spread throughout the entirety of our lives. For you have created us not in isolation, but within a beautiful community. Help us through prayer and worship and living life to be better at being one with our neighbours. A high calling, but one that you will help and guide us in its outworking. Amen.